Casual Magic has been sponsored by Quiver, maker of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine deck holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their website for 10% off your order. We're also sponsored by Architect, the premier site for hosting your decks on the internet. I love them and they love me, and it seems like a good reason for you to use them. This episode is also brought to you by Monopool, a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. Their optimizer helps you get the best value when buying cards, and their team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. You can also support Casual Magic directly by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/ShivanB. And now, on with the show. Hello and welcome to Casual Magic, the show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam, Bhatt, and Casual Magic is brought to you by Architect, Quiver Time, and Monopool, as well as my patrons at patreon.com/ShivanB. Today, I'm super hype to have a dude I've been trying to talk to for a while, but you know, it's like hard because he's a TikTok celebrity and I'm just a guy. But finally, when we were sitting in Atlanta, exhausted and dying on like the third day, I'm like, hey, let's schedule something. Here's my calendar. You don't get to leave. And
I was very pleased. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's not from lack of trying. It's just like, you know, our schedule just did not click. Please welcome Maldhound, who people have been trying to get me to talk to you for almost 3 years. Really? 2.5 years. Like the fans have been like every now and then I'm like, oh, who should I talk to? And your name pops up a lot. And I'm like, who the hell is that guy? And then it's like, oh, well, they're dating your friend. And I'm like, I should probably know that.
I still can't believe I've been doing it that long. I was talking to somebody about content creation, and they were like, yeah, you're the old guard, and I almost snapped my neck. 3 years on the internet,
dog. If you're the old guard, what does that
graveyard
mean?
duty. You're the crypt keeper, man. You're who they see when they die before they go to the tunnel of light.
I'm the boatman that takes you over like the river, right? Like, come on. Oh my god, dude, I've been doing content. I realized that it's got to have been over 10 years now that I've been doing content and podcast. I mean, I guess I've been doing content since like 2005, but that's like video games. That's different.
Yeah, like it hasn't been called content.
Yeah, no, that was just my job working at like, you know, oneup.com or IGN or whatever. But like since I started doing magic stuff, it's maybe right around Amonkhet block. Or the end of Kaladesh, right before Kaladesh is when I started, and that was 2016. So I guess it's been like 10 years, but it feels like more. Anyways, that being notwithstanding, hello, I would like to talk to you because you, sir, are a vanguard of content making in a world that I am too old to understand.
I feel too old to understand it most of the time, to be frank. Like the way I made my content was I thought genuinely, and this, if there was anybody out there who thought I was not stupid, this will prove it. I thought I was the first person to ever make a video about Magic the Gathering.
Oh my God.
I genuinely, when somebody asked me in a TikTok comment and I was like, wow, it's so weird that nobody makes videos about this. Started making videos about it. My YouTube history is exclusively Smash Bros. Tournament reruns and video game donkey videos. I did not know a thing.
Oh my God.
Not a thing.
Bro, you killing me. Like the first videos I think I saw of Magic the Gathering, well, the first one I ever saw was on ESPN2 when they broadcast the Pro Tour on TV. That was in 1998 or something like that.
I wasn't even alive back then.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
I'm kidding. I'm 95. I'm 95. I was rolling around.
You know what year I started playing Magic? 1994. No. I mean, mind you, I was 13, so it's not like I was old man then, but I'm like, that's still like, oh, children. Oh my god. But yeah, I think the first. Let's see. In terms of history, one of the first YouTube videos of Magic the Gathering ever was honestly the professor doing his like first like reviews of like sleeves and crap, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I remember we were at the same store, and goodness gracious, I remember when he was going around this like to like outside the store and filming with this like handy cam and doing all this stuff, and we were like, where are you gonna put this? And he's like, YouTube. And we're like, what's a YouTube? You know, actually YouTube started in 2005 when I was in college. Like my last year of college is when YouTube actually started, so never mind. But we knew what YouTube was then, but there was like no Magic content. There was, however, streaming of like Pro Tours and GPs and stuff on like Justin TV and then Twitch, but like not like content.
Right.
Hoff was probably the first or among the first to do content, but even then there were like other people who were doing early Magic podcasts. This is not Shivam lectures mauled about history of Magic, but like, because I know the only reason I know this stuff at all is A, I'm old, and B, I was there for the beginning.
I was there when it was written.
Like, look, dude, Prof and I have been friends for a very long time, so like I was there when he started. But also the podcast I was on for a long time, Commander in, was the offshoot of a podcast called Five Commanders, which was the first or second Commander podcast of all time. So I like I have lineage that goes back into the dawn of history, when it was just like Command Zone and Five Commanders and like the Commanders Brew or whatever from Toronto, Canada. Anyways,
that's
not the
crazy.
point, TikTok guy. Let me tell you about like how we used to crank the car to turn it on in the morning, right?
I had window cranks. I know the idea you're talking about.
You know what's really funny? I grew up in central Massachusetts in a small town called Shrewsbury, and I lived on a hill, and my middle school was on a different hill, and there was a large valley between. So I've literally walked uphill both ways in the snow.
Both ways,
in the snow to get to school.
Oh my god!
And that's when I was like, "This sucks. Don't ever do that. Get a car."
This is gonna be great to talk down to somebody one day, man.
So, I was asking you right before the stream, where are you from?
So I am from a few places, if I'm being like effective, right? Because you use where are you from as a tracing of kind of the nurture that surrounded you. So I was born in California. I was raised in San Francisco for a lot of my youth, but then in between 7th and 8th grade, I moved to Florida. And then I was in Florida for high school.
That is not the same as San Francisco.
Right. So there's a big switch up from like when I'm a child and you're a sponge, and then like formative social years, racists everywhere. Everywhere.
And humidity.
Racism and humidity, the two main exports Florida has. And then on top of that, my parents were not together when I was a child. And so I think I was like 80-20 with my mom and my dad. And my mom lived in the city because she was a private investigator for a law firm.
Oh, damn.
And my dad lived out in the suburbs. And so I had both like rough and tumble latchkey kid lifestyle and then California small town suburb lifestyle. And
which
then
suburb,
I moved to Florida.
Which small town?
I was born technically in Modesto.
Oh, okay.
And then
that is
when I was, and then
sticks.
my dad lived in Pleasanton for a while. Eventually he moved to Turlock.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like even small town.
So those were,
Turlock. Jesus.
Oh my God. I had this one friend in Turlock. I've never spoken to
the only person you've ever had a friend.
The only other person in Turlock. His name was Chance. I hate this kid. I swear, if I see him on the street, when we were both like 9, right? And we were playing as kids do. We come inside to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, which was the first card game I had picked up. My dad comes home and he's like, "What'd you kids do today?" And I go to say, "We played tag and then Yu-Gi-Oh!" And Chance says, "I was practicing making out with my girlfriend. She's older." I'm struck because he's just lied in front of me to look cool to my father. And then he goes, "Yeah, it was for hours." And I was like, okay, my dad is a smooth operator. He knows Chance is messing with me. My dad nods to him, looks at me and goes, "Why weren't you doing that?" And my fault, man. So that's my childhood in a nutshell.
What the? There
weren't any other girls in Turlock. Chance found the only one. That's not my fault.
There were a lot of places that discussion could have gone. That was not where I saw it going. Oh my God. Yeah, because I live in the Bay Area. I've been here most of my life, except when I took my adventure to Massachusetts. And so, because I could hear our hometown in your voice. But that being notwithstanding, I'm going to ask you the basic questions I like to ask all the people, which is, where did you find Magic, Mr. Bourne, after I actually started playing?
Not to copy my response to the previous question, but in multiple places. Because the first time I learned Magic was, I think it was 2021. I was living in California.
21? That's yesterday.
I'm aware, and that's the old times for me. Maybe 2020 or something. It might have been during COVID, but
probably a lot of people came in during COVID.
I was training to try to make the Olympic rowing team, and I was living, and my roommates were doing the same thing, and they were like, "Hey, John, play this game with us for it was a Friday night or something." That's the type of people they were. But let's pretend it was COVID. And they were like, "Come play with us." And it was very kitchen table Magic, I know now. And I was like, "How do I play?" And they were like, "Oh, you need cards. We know you don't have any." And one guy, my friend Derek,
go invest $150 and come back.
They said, "I just built a new deck. You can have my old one. Don't worry, it's still fine." And he hands me what I know now to be draft chaff.
Get wrecked.
Useless. And he brings out a werewolf deck. So this must have been whenever an Innistrad was coming back around.
The Shadows over Innistrad, maybe?
That sounds correct. Yes, that sounds correct. And he just floors me. Just devastates me. 3 games back to back to back. But I was still learning the rules. And so I go, okay, this was kind of fun. I can kind of see my way to playing more of this, but I would like my own deck. What do I have to do? And then he hits me with this deck was $80. If you would like your own, you can go do that. Then you can play with us. And I was like, Fortnite is free. This game sucks. Derek, I don't know if you're aware. This game is awful that you play. This game is terrible. And then I didn't touch it for another year or two after that.
Actually, no, Shadows was in 2016. That would have been way before. So if you were just starting, it would have been Crimson Vow or something like that.
Crimson Vow, yeah, that sounds
or
more correct,
the werewolf one. So that was Midnight Hunt. That's what it was. Midnight Hunt was a werewolf one. That is that's a set that's still active in my memory, which blows my mind that you started playing yesterday.
Yeah, so I get devastated. I don't touch or think about the game at all because I'm like, that's so much money to just be as bad as I am at Call of Duty. And then fast forward to the end of COVID, I have other friends who got into the game during COVID, and they're like, "Come play with us." And I was like, "I don't have cards." And they were like, "We bought 4 precons. You can come play precons with us." And I started playing with the Raynar the Ever Watchful precon. And then I got into it because
Raynar the Ever Watchful? Which one is that?
It's like a Kaldheim Returned thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so I got into
the white blue one, the Fertel guy.
Yes. And we made the critical rules mistake. Well, 2 critical rules mistakes. One, we thought that tokens could be flickered. We thought tokens, if they got exiled, could come back. And we thought that Raynar's text of when you exile one or more things, you get a guy, was if you exile stuff, you get as many guys as things you exiled. So we thought he was the exponential token machine if you flickered stuff. And I was like, wow, this guy's crazy good. He's so good. Why doesn't anybody talk about?
Now, Raynar is a good commander, but he's not
right.
Absurd.
He's not that good. Yeah. So I played with them for a little bit, and then I started playing on Arena, and then rest was history after that. Because then it was, because that was also a friend group where, funny enough, because this is a thing that gets talked about in Magic a lot, Magic was good because it controlled for the fact that we did not have a game we were equally skilled at we could play together. Like we couldn't play Smash Bros together because the best person in the friend group was too much better. Like we couldn't play Mario Kart together because the skill gap was too big. But Magic with precons,
you can't get any better than the deck is.
We could all play together super fine. So we loved it for that. And then I've been in it since that.
That's a really reasonable way to do it, which is like, because that's why I like playing with precons a lot, because as you said, the power is capped. So like it's never going to get better than whatever's in there. So you can play as hard as you want and it'll still be fair, right? Like it'll still come out like pretty balanced because the deck only does so much. I mean, some of the precons are pretty stupid, but like that era of precons were good, solid decks.
That new Hearthhole business.
Yeah.
Hearthhole's not playing around.
Dude, once we got to like, I think the precons started getting really stupid with the black red guy from AFR who just gives you treasures all the time.
Prosper?
Yeah, Prosper.
I love Prosper.
Prosper is when it got...
Don't say that to me. He's reasonable. When it got
stupid.
He's reasonable. He just wants a little money on the side. He's supporting a family.
Look, that deck was head and shoulders above every other deck in there.
That was the first deck that taught me, like, hey, fast mana is evil, actually.
Yeah, it turns out it's really
that was
easy to
the
break
first
this.
deck that made me be like, maybe Soul Ring's not morally correct. maybe we gotta cut that one out.
Oh my god, Prosper. Okay, but you said something in there that made me want to like yank you to a stop and actually pursue this line of question. What the hell do you mean Olympic rowing?
Oh yeah, that was what I was doing for like most of my life. The goal was make it to the Olympics. I'm very listen. I've been told by people on the internet I give short king energy, which
you are very tall. Let's be
right.
Real.
I'm 6'4". I'm 6'4". Thank you very much, everybody who's like, wow, you're taller than I thought.
Dude, I don't know. Every time I've seen you, you've just been towering over me. So I'm like, I guess you're just wingspan.
Yeah, I'm Gumby. But I got into rowing because I was a real fat kid, and rowing was the only no cuts.
Really?
So rowing was one. The heaviest I've been in my life was like 260, and that was in like 7th grade.
That's like Augustus Gloop or something.
Yeah, and so rowing was both the only no-cut sport, and rowing cares a lot about leverages, and so by being tall, I was just naturally very good at it. Like you think, oh, he's tall, he'd be good at basketball. Not how I run, but rowing,
you just have to sit there and yank.
Yeah, you just yank super hard.
Really good exercise. It's really fun. Mm-hmm. Like I've gotten to do like Olympic style rowing before. I'm not good at it, but I'd always wanted to try it because like I'm an Olympics junkie. I love watching the Olympics. It's the Olympics is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
but like I wanted to see what it was like to kind of go, and I had some friends who were like, you know, college rowing guys, and so they're like, sure, you can sit in the boat and we can just go and like whoosh whoosh. And first off, it is way more strenuous than you think it is, and it's also a lot. Even though it's like feels like it's only a minute or two, your body says this feels interminably long.
Oh yeah, you're dying. There was there was one time. So I went to the University of Washington, which has one of the best rowing programs in the world. And they do this thing. I think they called it a ham and egger because they would do it on Monday mornings. But they take everybody on the team and they'd mix you up. And they would do a 2,000 meter race, which is the official race distance to start the week. That was like Monday mornings. That's the first thing you're doing. You're going at it hard.
And it's like at 6 a.m. or something too. Isn't it?
Oh yeah. Very early. And there was this one, I got so lucky where the lineup that got pulled was, it was for eights racing. So it was the coxswain and 6 other people in the boat were 6 of the people from last year's varsity 8 that had won nationals by like a healthy margin.
Oh,
so like 6 of the best rowers I had ever seen in the flesh, me and another freshman. And we're in bow and we're about to start. We're at the back of the boat and we're about to start the race. And the guy in front of me just turns back and goes like, hey man, just don't drop the oar. You'll be all right. turns around and they go, we had current. So it's not like, so I'm about to say a number and they're not actually that fast because of current. but the world record at the time was like 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and this boat went 5 minutes and 17 seconds for a 2,000-meter race because it had current with them, and I just like fell down, and
just hold on, buddy. Your arms must have been falling off.
Yeah, that was
so
a fun day. It was insane. So that's what I was doing for most of my life. And the only reason I even had space to do content creation was because I have a chemical engineering degree. Haven't used it a day in my life. Because I got the degree, I looked at the jobs available, and they were like, if you want to make a lot of money as a chemical engineer, you go into consulting. And if you go into consulting, you do like 80, 90-hour weeks for the first couple of years, and you travel a lot before you get established, and then you're rich, and who cares? And so I was like, if I want to do the rowing thing, I got to wait on that. So the only reason I didn't have a chemi job was from rowing. And then my back eventually gave out, as it tends to do for rowers.
Yeah.
And in the limbo of rowing's winding down, but I haven't quit and just gotten a desk job, I started doing content. And then that happened like overnight.
That's insane. That's I hear a lot of stories on this show. I hear a lot of different origin stories and a lot of things people do. And it turns out like you see people and you're like, so you're this, insane goofball who just does like silly nonsense all the time. It's like, yeah, so what do you do? Oh yeah, I've got 3 PhDs in ancient Assyrian or something. You're like, what the hell? What? It's like when you talk to Alex Kessler, right? Like Alex Kessler is my iconic example here because he is like, you would think he's a hollow-headed clown and he's just a total ditzy bubble. And then you talk to him and you're like, oh, this man is a successful businessman who's run multiple companies and knows his way around like an industry or something. And you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
It turned out like magic just kind of indexes for incredibly smart people or incredibly charismatic people. And
it's frankly an overcomplicated game, right? It attracts a certain type of person because we got way too many numbers going on.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that the most popular way to play is the most complicated way to play. Like, hey, have you ever seen a commander table after 4 people have like 650 tokens? And it's like, well, these buttons here are actually 3/4s, and those gumdrops are actually 1/2s, but they become 3/4s if it's like, how about I just wrath and then we don't have this problem anymore?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, dude, I was trying out a new deck in Atlanta I built Furion, the mono red equipment guy from Final Fantasy. And it's got.
Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? They got like 18 mono red equipment guys from Final Fantasy.
Reasonable. It's a dude who, when you play equipment, you get a copy of it.
A copy that costs 2 less to equip.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, what would be really cool if you take all these equipment that bring a dude when you make them, and then just copy them, and you get to keep the dude on top of that, and they have hasty little bodies that go and fly in. And so, but the problem is they're like rebels. They're heroes, and then there's like living weapons and stuff, and I've got all these tokens on the table and I'm trying to remember which one's a hero and I'm like, okay, I have bookkeeped myself out of this game. I don't know what's going on anymore. Magic. But like, that is wild because chemical engineering is an incredibly difficult degree. I know I tried for it when I started college. I was going for biomedical engineering and computer science and like dabbling in chemical engineering because my dad was a chemical engineer as well.
Yeah.
And I graduated with English with a minor in international relations and Japanese.
That's my guy.
Because you know what?
Respect.
I learned.
Yeah, there was no moment more enlightening in chemical engineering than at the end of sophomore year, because they let you into the program then. And it's like spring of sophomore year, they bring these 2 guys in. They're like, these are 3rd year PhD students. And they're working under the professor that teaches this class. And they're going to talk to you about some of the stuff that's in your future if you pursue a PhD in chemical engineering. And they were talking about this very interesting, like, quantum dot stuff that could be used for, I think it was like making better medication delivery systems or making more absorbable medications.
Sure.
And they were just like, in it. They were in the flow, talking about their process, talking about what drove them to do this. And somebody raised their hand and goes, if you could do it all again, knowing what you know now, would you? And they both said no immediately.
Hell no. Are you kidding me? Why would I do that? Yes. Ironically, when I was in college, my first D&D DM was a guy who was doing chemical engineering, studying. His PhD was in like photosynthesis, and like on the transfer of like photosynthetic. It got very complicated. It was very cool sounding, but it was also just like, that's so much math. And I was like, I love the science part of it, but I don't want to sit and do these calculations. I'd just rather read a book.
They trick you. I got into it for the chemistry and then found out very quickly that it was 99% physics. And then every once in a while you look up a constant. And
exactly. I love chemistry, and they lied. I don't want physics.
Yeah, they lied. They lied very hard.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to mix, like, I want a purple liquid to go into a green liquid and a puff of smoke.
I want to titrate something.
Right? When I was in high school and we got to do the titrations, it was the best, except that my calculations would always be wrong because I would just keep pouring stuff in there to make the things change colors. And then it would be like way too much liquid in there. You're like, oh, whoops.
What was your yield percent? I'm trying to see something. That's
bro,
my yield.
I'm just trying to understand where God is in this cup. Okay, so leave me alone. Anyways, so let's talk though then about the thing that actually makes you popular. Like, why TikTok? Or like, where did you start? What did you start making? Like when you first made the first ever magic video of all time.
the first ever magic video was TikTok. The first ever content video was like every white man who does stuff on the internet. I was in a local quartet of white men, and they went, "You're the funniest. You should stream on Twitch."
Oh Jesus!
And so this is why
I was going to say like, yeah, until we started a podcast.
If any of them were funny. If any of them were funny.
A group of white guys, right? Like, you know, you got a gaggle of sheep, you got a podcast of white guys.
It's actually called an improv most of the time. And so they would like stream on Twitch. So while I was still full tilt into rowing, I tried streaming on Twitch. And so like 9 months go by. I got one viewer. This is my guy. Little Tom. And I was like, well, this does suck. I don't like turning the camera on and then just like yelling at a screen about nothing for 3 hours. And so I quit that and then said, I do want to do something in entertainment. And so I took all the time that I had been streaming and I blocked that off as time I had to sit down and come up with something funny that I wanted to say on the internet. And I chose TikTok just because that was the like most relevant social platform at the time. YouTube Reels probably existed, but I think I thought of them as more like informative. I didn't really think of them as a social media platform. And I certainly wasn't making long content. I don't know why I didn't care about Instagram, but I never did.
You know, Instagram just felt like, even for me, it felt like an audience that was like, it felt like, look, I'm not a fashionista or a chef, so I don't know what I'm going to do on Instagram.
I'm an adult. What am I doing posting on Instagram?
I don't take photos, man. Like I don't think in photos. So I don't I have an Insta. What do I use it for? Liking people's things? I don't know. I don't know how to work it. My mind doesn't work that way.
I get it. And so the TikTok started, I was actually making skits about Elden Ring and Hades. And on one of those, somebody asked, what other games do you play? And I rattled off a ton of games, and one of them was Magic. And somebody left the comment, "Oh, my commander Shieldred, what do you think about that?" And then I made an off-the-cuff video calling them a living bucket of piss. And
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And I woke up to that video having like 6-figure views, and I was like, I guess I could do another. And just kind of kept going, guess I could do another. And then after a while, it became the primary thing that I did. And then for a long bit, it was like the only thing that I did. And so it was really just kind of bouncing off of whatever the audience said. Like I've really just been doing from a meta scale, like geological level crowd work. It's one never ending pretty milquetoast stand-up set in which I just keep bouncing off the next person.
You're doing an improv set and people just keep handing you little prompts and you just keep doing another skit based on it.
Yes, that's I've learned how to seed it a little bit because I started playing Risk of Rain 2, which is a roguelike game. And I made a video talking about it. This game's evil, by the way. It's very fun, but you know how most games, as the
I can see the sign behind you calling.
Oh yes, yeah. Hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That was actually, I drew that to put in the background of my video so somebody would ask about it, and they did. But I was filming the video and I get to the end and I'm like, it needs a little something else. And so I phone camera and go, yeah, and by the way, if you play Huntress, I'm coming for you. And then I cut it there. And then I get like 20 comments that are like, what's wrong with Huntress? And I just go, save. And then I have my next video.
Dude, that is unbelievably clever. I feel like, because like what that feels to me like an ADHD idea generation machine, which is like so perfect in the sense of like, because like for instance with this podcast or with my other podcast Shivam and Wheeler, it's very easy. We talk about a magic set. There's a million magic sets. I can pick any of them. We can talk about them for hours. This podcast is much harder to come up with ideas and talk about things because like I have to find people, I have to find topics, I have to do things. But if it's like the audience is just spitting out and saying, hey, what the hell's wrong with blah? And then you're like, well,
let me tell you.
Yeah, because I've been heavily encouraged to start exploring TikTok because my friends all use it and they say I should do it. And so I'm like, why not? And I'm very good at telling stories on things like Twitter and Blue Sky. So it's very easy to just transfer storytelling from here to there. Or like even do my freaking Scryfall random and just be like, hey guys, here's today's card and point behind me and have the thing show up. The problem is that sounds like work and I am terminally against work. Like putting together TikTok videos and stuff just seems so like, it seems so labor intensive. Do you do this? Like, do you do it on your phone or do you have like a thing?
There are ways to do it that are labor intensive, but one of the better pieces of advice I've gotten that I've been more successful at practicing lately is I have a friend who is much better at this than me. And I was asking him for advice. I was like, what's your process? What do I do? I was like, I'll spend like 3 hours on a video. And this isn't on the editing or anything. This is just on like the writing of the jokes. And I was asking him, like, how much time are you spending? Like, is it just like all day to figure this out? He was like, I set a timer on my phone for 45 minutes. And I make and post 2 videos in those 45 minutes. And then I stop looking at my phone. And so there are templates people can exist in. Like there are types of storytelling people can do that are extremely labor intensive. An example of this working really, really well is Zach the Bold. He's using like, it looks to me, I don't know any of his stuff specifically, but it looks to me like he's using professional cameras. His hair is done very nicely. Every video I've ever seen him in. Audio quality is very good. I don't know where he's hiding that mic, but I'm gonna figure it out. But like I made 2 videos today in 52 minutes. And I have a friend who I'm not going to blast them on here, but I have a friend who I will do like co-working calls with. And he's like, I need more time to edit. And I'm like, no, you don't. You think you do because you're wasting time on something. But on short form social media in particular, I kind of think about it and I'm trying to figure out different language for this because it's very adjacent to condescension. But when you're trying to make short form content, you have to think about it like you're talking to a cat. Like they don't understand the words, they understand the tone. And with short form content, some things are very detail heavy. You do not need that to be successful. You need to transmit the right energy. You need to transmit like authenticity and enthusiasm. And that transmits independent of camera quality, It does not transmit independent of audio quality. Your
Dude,
microphone cannot be garbage, but everything
I've said this
else.
1,000 million times to people. Every time someone's like, "Oh man, can you give me advice into content creation?" I'm like, literally nothing matters but your sound. If your sound, like, you can be filming your stuff through a potato lens, it does not make a difference. If your sound sounds anything less than perfect, people will check the hell out, because that's what they're listening to. That's what they're actually noticing. And like, people are way more audio sensitive than you think they are, than they think they are. And like,
Yeah.
like, your video can be as assy as you want. We can go to YouTube right now and find old, like, 240 by 4, like 480 by 240 type old school, like, 15 years ago YouTube videos that look like garbage, but you're still going to listen because the sound is perfect, right? Like, but if your sound is fuzzy or cruddy or like sounds like a bathroom or a toilet, they're no. One of the first episodes I did of this show, I did an interview with somebody, and their audio quality sounded like they were sitting on a working air conditioning unit being dragged down the highway on the flatbed of a truck. And I was like, this is not going to work. I cannot have this happen.
Yeah. So
that's one of my pet hills to die on.
And you're correct. I'll die there with you. But yeah, most TikTok videos do not require very much of any post-production, and most people who are like making TikTok videos and are very much like, no, it does. Either they are doing something that is very aesthetically driven, which does happen and is true. But if you are a yapper, no.
Yeah,
if you are my most viewed video in the last like 2 weeks is the Risk of Rain video. It's me like this, leaning back in the chair, angled so you can see the Glizzy Gobbler tier list. There is no overlays. There are no effects. There are no transitions. It is just camera on, camera off, post.
There's something to be... I'm going to have to think about that, because like, I'm a child of long form, right? Like, I come from writing, where I write lengthy essays and stuff, and then get into podcasts. And of course, what I choose, hour-long interviews, like the opposite. People are like, you should make clips. I'm like, buddy, how do you make a clip out of a conversation? Like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know how to do that. I'm going to ask somebody else to do it for me. But yeah, but like, there's something to be said for just high energy hit post and like fire and forget type of thing. And if I can get over myself enough to do that, it would probably work. But then you have to get over yourself. And
it's taken some getting over to do it. I mean, it's still like there. I'm glad we talked about the rowing first, so that people know that I have in fact done difficult things in my life. There are times where getting a video done in like the 1 hour, and I've only been good about it the last like week and a half. Do not like, let me not pretend like I'm sitting on the enlightened
like this
hill
is a
or
brand
something.
New
it's not a brand new thing I've been trying. It's a brand new thing I've been pulling off consistently, because I always like, I'd previously gotten it for like a day or two, and then I would find an excuse to let the video take a long time. But there have been times where to do it consistently, and whether it's now or in the past, it will feel like it is genuinely taxing my soul to get something interesting out in that time span. But the videos tend to be better for it. Like, there are some videos that benefit a lot from having more time in the oven or having more time in post. But I think the type of stuff that I'm doing, and the type of stuff that tends to resonate really well on short form content, like the ideation and the rough draft should happen quickly. And I'm just posting the rough. If I was doing skits like Zach the Bold, where all the polish was very, very important and helped communicate things even more, then yeah, whatever, it takes a day. It takes as long as it takes. But for me, 95% of the entertainment value is in the words that I'm saying. And so I just got to get stuff said.
All right. Can we explore that? How do you like when we're talking about magic, like, what does your content actually look like? Because I literally downloaded TikTok today, like before we started. So I'm unfamiliar with a lot of what goes on there. But like, Tappy was like, I need to send you this video and you don't have the app, so get the damn app. And I'm like, okay, Tappy, I'll do what you say. Yeah. So like walk me through like what it's like to make a video.
For my most common video type, which is a commander roast, I will grab a comment, whether that's from YouTube or TikTok, and then I will go to Scryfall and I will screenshot on my phone the commander. I've been filming in CapCut, but CapCut's been getting kind of, I don't know, quality's been falling off there. But CapCut has a green screen function in which it will green screen you in on a background of your choosing. I choose the card screenshot. I put myself in the corner. Yap. In the post editing, you can put text on, you can put overlays on. So if there's other cards I'm referencing, or if there's visuals that I think are a part of the joke, I overlay those in and then trim dead air, done, posted.
Nice.
For a lot of my other stuff, it is as simple as post. The most involved thing I do is skits, and even that is just write the script,
right?
Film everything for character A, change, film everything for character B, and cut it up, put them in order. I used to, this was one of the, Z has made all of my content so much better.
Z is a master of this art form.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
And
if you guys haven't heard my Z main character interview from like 3 months ago or something, you should listen, because Z and I go back quite a ways, and I'm very happy with how that talk went.
Yeah. And one of the first things they did, they saw me filming a skit, and it was like person A, person B. Man, I was changing outfits between takes.
Oh, God.
I was filming line 1, changing shirts, filming line 2, change back, line 3, change back, line 4. And they were like, why do you do that? Is it because you're improvising? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, why don't you just film it all as one character? And I just stared at them for like 10 seconds.
That's what they do in Hollywood, dog. It's just like you film it all in one costume, and you film it all in the next costume you need, and then the edit happens. That's what editing is for.
Not me. I'm raw like
God,
that.
bro, you're killing me in so many different ways. I love this.
And so that was one of the first things. And then they were the first one to be like, listen, if you want your visuals to be stinky poo poo, okay, your audio cannot be stinky poo poo. And then they've made all my visuals better as well. Like I have better camera because of them. My lighting is better. Every single aspect of the creative process has been improved by comparing it to Z's and being like, what are you doing? Interesting. Let me write that down.
That's, yeah, because like I talked to them about this, and I was like, how do I make short form videos? And they gave me a very interesting and lengthy primer, and then I'm going to actually, I have to follow up, and so we can actually talk, and I can do this for real. But like, I don't know, it seems like the theme in my podcast lately has been like, show me how you make content, instead of actually talking about Magic cards. But I'm like, dude, you know what? Everybody talks about Magic cards. What's there to talk about? They're cards. We like them. That's why we're here. Next.
As someone who is making more clipped content, I think the lowest hanging fruit I can offer is if you want to be able to make clips out of something like a podcast, cut all of your sentences in half. Everybody in Magic, extremely verbose. Not good for clips. Clips require a dynamic back and forth. And I noticed this because the main thing I do right now is streaming, actually.
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to clip for stream, I'm like, holy God, do I love a run-on sentence. Somebody call Hemingway.
Right?
And if you want to be able to clip,
can't do that. You got to be pithy, and pithy is the opposite of what Shivam is. Like, this is not the world I live in. I do not pith, but...
I bori gamos.
Yeah, right. Like I in a world of portal sets, I am a Strixhaven. You know, like
yeah.
Oh my God, this reading my cards get so long now. We're just we love to hear ourselves talk. That's wild. But you've been like incredibly successful at this, which is really impressive to watch, and like your fans really love you, which is also really cool. Like, what that must have been like, you've been to like a bunch of cons where people recognize you and see you now, right? Like,
I've never been to a con where I was not famous, which is a little bit weird. The first one I went to was I don't think I had like 100,000, and I'm not like, for anybody listening, I do not think of myself as famous, but I've never been to a convention where I was not well known as a social media creator for Magic. So I've like, never been to a convention as I'm a guy who plays Magic. I've only ever been as Mauled Hound.
Right.
So yeah, that was very, very weird.
Which, let's see, what con? God, 2001. Did you even make? You started after Magic Cons did, I think, maybe even.
Yep. I went
That's
to
crazy.
MagicCon Vegas, I think in 2023 was the very first one that I went to.
It is blowing my mind how new you are, given how big you got, how quickly. That speaks to you, I guess, just understanding which medium is the one to hit right now. And then
I got lucky. I think it's the Bo Burnham quoted it best, and I'm only going to mangle whatever he said, but it was like, I worked very, very hard. I thought a lot about this, and then I got extremely lucky on top of it, and that's awesome. Like yeah, because like, I mean, hitting TikTok worked, but then I started uploading to YouTube, and interestingly, there was almost no crossover between my YouTube audience and my TikTok audience, and it worked the same way. And the rise was like, you could hold a mirror up to them and they look identical. Sick. But yeah, so it was basically the moment I started talking about Magic, people were like, yeah.
And I mean, you do short form content, which is the new hotness, because everybody's like, I'm going to watch it on my phone. And of course, I'm just the albatross here with my 3-hour long podcast. You know, Wheeler and I taped for 8 hours a few weeks ago, right before Atlanta, and we got 2 episodes. Because we went on for like 4 hours about like Eldraine or whatever set we're talking about. Because we literally go like every card and then whatever stories and stuff we have to go on. And it's just like, when you get 2 autodidacts in a room together, it's going to be a very lengthy conversation.
I mean, see, that's what I'm doing with streaming, though. Like, the thing is, everyone's a short form content creator, but they now are just doing short form to trampoline into getting somebody to listen to you for hours on end.
Exactly. Like, that's why I'm leaning heavily into starting to stream either Civ or Final Fantasy Tactics, just because there's a lot of people doing Magic stuff, and I don't need to interact with that because I'm not going to beat. Nobody's going to watch me over Reed Duke, real talk. But like,
well, yeah, they will. People watch me over Reed Duke.
I guess that's fair. Reed tanks a lot very quietly. It doesn't make for good background listening because it's like nothing is happening, but you're enthralled, I guess. Anyways, not the point. I will figure that bridge out later once I get to it, because it's easy to talk about content. It's hard to get around to doing it. And once you start, it's easy to keep going, but it's that initial push sucks. So actually, I wanted to ask you, like, why did you make that choice to start streaming in the first place? Like, we briefly kind of got over it, but then we glossed past it. But why? Like, you were doing rowing and you were doing chemi. You just didn't want to get a real job, and you're like, I have to do something. Is that what it was?
Well, I think it was, well, for sure, I didn't want to get a real job.
Sure.
I think I am one of those people that I love attention. I can photosynthesize it, basically. And so I'm still at the arc where people are like, oh, you don't want to be famous. You don't want that attention. I'm like, yes, I do. And I know that I won't once it reaches a certain point. But thankfully, I am not nearly well known enough for it to have reached that point. And so the only way I socialized with other people was by entertaining them. Like, I always had to be the funny guy in the friend group. And so streaming felt a lot like that. And I do think there is a, like, whether you come up with it on the spot or whether it's planned, man, when you rip a good joke to a room full of people that aren't expecting it,
it feels real.
That is just electric.
There's
like, I did a little
stand-up, man.
before I did. I was doing stand-up before I did streaming. Yeah, but all the open mic nights were like, you go on at 11. That does not pair with Olympic rowing. And so it was kind of like, I'm going to do stand-up or I'm going to do content. and my athletic schedule made it so that content could fit with athletics, but stand-up could not fit with athletics. So I did content.
I mean, I guess that's our gain, right? Like, because if you're doing open mics and stand-up, it's like, you're going to go on at 2:30 in the morning. Good luck. And it's like, and here's your 5-minute slot. And that's not really good for if you're trying to get up at 6 to go rowing or whatever.
Yeah, man. They gave me a tight 10 at 11 p.m. and it went very well, and I had a great time. But they gave me a tight 10 at 11. I left at like 11:30 because out of politeness, I watched the person who went after me, and I had to drive an hour home and then wake up 5 hours from then to go to practice. And I was like, I'm never doing that. I can't do that anymore.
You would fall off the boat, man. And those stupid boats are so thin and so narrow. But when you're flying down and you're in the rhythm, it feels so good. It's so cool.
Oh, it is ecstasy. When you're in it.
If you had made it onto the Olympics, I would be having a very different fan-based conversation right now, where I'd be like, tell me about Team Finland, or whatever the hell, right? With the little flags on the rows. And oh my God.
My favorite team is New Zealand. They had these two guys called they're referred to as the Kiwi pair because they just rode in a pair, which is a 2-person boat. One of the things I love about them, 2 of the best rowers to ever touch a boat. They went undefeated in international competition for years, and specifically went undefeated for 69 straight wins, at which point they retired for exactly the reason you think.
Nice.
And they asked, like, why'd you retire? Did you think you couldn't keep winning? They were like, no, we could keep winning, but we thought this was funnier. They said, we set the record. We don't think anybody can break it. And so we're just going to stop here because this number's funnier to leave on.
I love that. I love that so much. Thanks for talking with me, dude. This has been awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
If folks wanted to find you, where could they go?
They could find me on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, slowly but surely. And I am Maldhound on all of those platforms, which is Baldhound, but with an M instead of a B.
Reasonable and fair. As always, my friends, you can find me at Shivam Bhatt on Blue Sky. You can find this podcast where podcasts are sold, or at YouTube every Tuesday, thanks to my editor, Dan. You can also hear me on Shivam, Wheel of Love Magic, or the Chronicles of Dragonlance podcast. And remember, my friends, it's not magic without the gathering, and we'll see you next time.